Bear, what are you doing? Katie girl? Y'all, here's our giant sea of concrete. I'll let Maya be the one to tell you guys more about all of this, but this is the foundation for his shop. And this project's gonna take us a while. We're like not in any massive rush trying to knock it out because we're doing it ourselves. And so we got the slab poured. That's kind of something that there are times of year that it's a lot harder to have cooperative weather. So we went ahead and got it poured now when it's a good season for that. And then he's gonna, you know, start working on it as time allows. And anyway, now we have this massive bit of concrete, which the kids have been playing on like crazy, and the cats love. So we have 5 barn cats that are outside. When it's warm outside and that slab is all hot, you'll look out there and all 5 of the cats will be sitting on it. It is a bright and sunshiny late summer morning. Good morning, girls. Hello, Helen. Fern. What's up, Sowards? Howdy. Your milking time. Jeremiah actually said something to me recently and I thought it was funny. He said he loves milking because he loves sitting in his rocking chair while he waits. It's just your little peaceful time of the day.
Busting me out.
Huh?
Busting me out.
I'm busting you out. I just walked in here and slipped and said, ugh. To which Maya responded, it's my fault. I was like, what? And he said, I left the water on last night and it overflowed the trough. It happens. You're such a little sweet angel. A little hydration for the barn floor never hurt anything. Well, actually, yes, it probably has hurt many things, but only repeatedly. Fern is still in hospital. She's in isolation here. She's got an open sore on her udder that happened when she was down after the retained placenta. And so we're just gonna keep her isolated for the time being. Just because anytime you have open sores, if you have the option of not having an animal with an open sore in with the other animals, it's the best option. So Ben has a buddy over here. I think they're gonna head out here in a moment. I just made the kids French toast before I came out to milk. And I'm milking, I'm not doing anything else this morning, chores wise, or project wise I should say. For me, I have milking chores. Jeremiah typically feeds everything and milks the cows, but then I'll have like tasks that are not necessarily daily. So like I may need to like sow something in the garden or get something done. But I don't have anything on my list this morning because Asher is going, my son Asher, he's a senior in high school this year, and he doesn't come on camera just a whole lot. That's not really his thing, but he does occasionally, and so you guys have got to watch him grow up as well, but maybe just from a little bit more of a distance. But he is going today, Jackson's meeting him in Columbia for a Comic-Con event. So he's inside getting ready. Maya would totally go with them, but we have a baseball tournament too. Busy Saturday. Last night they were telling Jeremiah like the different people that were gonna be there, and he was like, that's cool, no way. All right, I've already got her washed and cleaned. My wrists are doing a lot better. I had a really bad case of tendonitis flare up. It was actually ended up being in both my wrists, but the left one was way worse, and I was having to keep it in a splint. But I did well and mostly rested it for a handful of days, and that made a massive difference. And now I'm back to milking. I did actually order a little milk machine. It's like not a super fancy one. It was heavily reviewed and has like a pulsing. A lot of the cheaper milk machines are constant suction, and you don't want that because that can really cause damage. But I haven't even fully opened it yet. But I ordered it to try. I've got backup here that I can lean on for help. But it just kind of made me realize like the potential for something that could be problematic in the future. Like if I do have that issue with having issues in my joints sometimes, and so I just thought it would be good to have something as a backup because if you have dairy animals, you got to get the milk out of them or else you're risking infection. All right, Ben, would you like to introduce your friend to our friends on YouTube?
Eli.
This is Eli. Eli, can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, my name's Eli.
Eli spent the night with us last night, and Ben is about to show him how to milk the goat. So your mom told me you've tried to milk y'all's goats, but they've not really been milked, so they weren't really about it.
Yeah. I tried to do it in a peanut jar. It didn't even work.
Yeah. Well, you get a good lesson here.
I don't have one of those, so.
Yeah, stanchion makes a big difference. This is the goat that Ben likes to milk the most. Her name's Claire.
The grab technique.
The grab technique of cleaning them off. That's right. Alright, so Ben's taking a couple squirts and squirting them out, and that just makes sure that there's nothing blocking that's going to get in the milk and contaminate it. It also lets us look at her milk to make sure that it doesn't have any chunks or anything that would tell us she's got an infection. There you go. Alright, you want to teach Eli? You want to let him sit down and try it?
Yeah.
Alright.
So, you know when you got like a rubber glove? Yeah. And you fill it up with water? Yeah. So you know when you just squeeze one of the fingers, it goes back into the glove? Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to pinch the top, and then if you want to squeeze it, it's like that. Okay.
Okay. So you kind of trap the milk in the teat with your hand like this, and then you squeeze it out.
Okay.
So squeeze the top first like this, and then squeeze it out.
Okay.
Okay, so trap it in. There you go. That's it. Well done. You don't have to pull down, which Ben might have gotten. She doesn't produce as much on this side, but you can try this. The other side is a little more full because he milked less on it. There you go. The milk stanchion and a cooperative goat makes a massive difference in milking goats, Eli.
And a cooperative person.
Yeah, that helps too.
That helps the most.
Hey, so it's been a few days since I shot the first half of this vlog. As mentioned, then we had a busy Saturday that we were getting into, and I just kind of, I've been working in the house since then doing not fun video stuff. I don't know, I guess a lot of people make content of like cleaning up their house and decluttering and organizing, and that's commendable for them, and I guess some people want to watch it, but I personally have a hard enough time paying attention and staying on track when I'm doing that kind of work that I cannot even imagine trying to engage with a camera. We parked the trailers over here by the sheep. This is the trailer that Jeremiah outfitted for the hayride at our kids' school. Almost hayride season. We're gonna come over here and look at the sheep. Everybody's doing well. I do not walk over here because, as you can see, the grass is very high, and then we've been moving them to, you know, new grass regularly. They just got a new patch today. So I shared a reel. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm on Instagram. I have Facebook. I've been posting a little bit more there. I don't really keep up with it as much. And I have TikTok, but I don't really post very much there. I do post on Instagram fairly regularly. And I shared this story, but I'll go ahead and tell y'all here for those of you who don't do that social media. Thursday, we had the farmer's market. We have been... It's been a really intense few weeks on the farm, and I've shared that with y'all, you know, what's been going on. We had the struggle with losing some lambs and some others that required a lot of nursing, and of course one of our cows has required a lot of nursing, and we just recently lost another cow, and so it's been multiple things that just kind of all came to a head at once. Frankly, it's been a little humbling because it's been a couple years since we've really had any issues we much at all had to deal with on the farm. So, you know, you haven't arrived. You haven't got it figured out. You can still get a curveball thrown to you. I was getting ready to go to the farmer's market, and I had all the kids in my car. minus Toby, who was at football practice, and Maya was behind me waiting to pick Toby up, and he was going to meet us at the farmer's market. And I was in kind of a rush, like I was out of time, and I got in my car, and where we are here, let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see there are gnats so bad right now. All the way back there is my house. So we're across the pond, but you can see this, like you can see the sheep from driving out. You just can't necessarily differentiate them from each other. At least I can't. My vision is not the very best. But I was coming down the driveway and I was looking and I was like, oh no. Because I could see that one of the mama sheep was laying down in such a way that living animals don't, typically. So I just like cut the wheel, just start driving across the pasture. We have a little land bridge over here. I drove across it and I drove my car up here with my kids in the car. And the kids are like, Mom, is that sheep dead? And I'm like, yeah, it looks like it. And so I roll the window down. I'm like, hey, sheep. And I'm hollering at her. And I mean, she's flat on her side. Her neck is back. Her eyes are open. There's like flies around. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a dead animal. And obviously, my just like stomach just sinks like a rock, and I'm like, God, just another thing, you know. And so I called Jeremiah because I'm running late. At this point, you know, I need to go, and he's gonna be here at the house for another hour. So I called him and I was like, hey, it was the one that just kept turtling, and the one whose babies all had issues. And I called him and I'm like, hey, the big ewe that we've been having issues with, she's dead. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'll handle it. Don't worry about it. You can go. I'll get it. And I'm like, thank you. So I go to the farmer's market, tell multiple people about my ewe that I've lost. And I mean, I'm just like, man, it has been rough. It's been a rough couple weeks. I mean, on top of the farm issues, I had one kid break an arm, another one needed stitches, like spent more hours in an emergency room than I care to. We got a virus coming off of our vacation, and like, it's just been a rough month. And the next morning, I get up to take the kids to school. Again, going down the driveway, and I'm looking over, and the sheep are all moving around. And I go back in the house, and I'm like, hey, what'd you do with that ewe? Because I was wondering, like, where Jeremiah buried her. And he's like, oh, yeah, what are you talking about? There was not a dead sheep out there. And I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, there's no dead sheep. I went out there whenever you called me, and there wasn't anybody dead. And I was like, that big ewe wasn't dead? I was like, God, she looked like tragically, very convincingly dead. And he was just like, no, she was just having a hard nap. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And I made that real because I was laughing at our poor communication, but also just sometimes you have never arrived. If I didn't think I needed a humbling, but good night. I got one. This last month, I got one. I did get a new mineral. I went to my local feed store and got this mineral called Durafirm, which is one that was very highly recommended. I got, you have to do different mineral for sheep and goats because goats need copper and sheep cannot have copper. And so I got sheep mineral that I put out here for them, and just doing something different. And I got the goats on it. We're gonna be moving over to like the buffet situation so that you can do like mineral buffets for your animals, and it essentially gives them the ability to eat what they need, so it's all separate instead of all being mixed together. And apparently one thing I learned through my sheep woes is that South Carolina, this area that I live in, is one of the most selenium deficient areas in the country. Which I come, you know, our farming experience has been primarily in Arkansas, which is also selenium deficient. But, you know, you move to a new region, you kind of have to relearn things. And so a friend of mine told me that she does the buffet and that her cows eat like 3 times more selenium than any of the other minerals. And so I'm wondering that even though we have been supplementing minerals, if they still didn't have some deficiency. So we're gonna switch over to that. We've got to order all the stuff to set it up where we can keep it dry, maybe build something. But in the meantime, I think that Durafirm is gonna be good. We haven't had any more issues, like other than sheep playing dead. Everybody seems to be extremely healthy. The cows are doing better. Fern's on the mend. I am humbled. My farm is healthy, so I don't mind. The garden is a jungle, just completely bonkers, the whole thing. And we are currently balancing between like resetting spaces, getting ready for fall, letting things finish. I will be honest, I don't really want to necessarily film a garden tour of this chaos in the moment. I think I would really like to watch the garden tour later. I think I would like for posterity's sake to have it, because in the dead of winter I would take this wild, wayward, messy garden, this August garden and all of her abundance and unruliness. I think I would take it in a moment, but in the moment it feels so chaotic to me. Like this particular time, I come to the garden, I harvest from the garden, I still come out here and hang out a little bit, but it's also a little uncomfortable for me. Like this chaos is a little uncomfortable for me. Just honestly where I'm at. So I have not filmed a garden tour recently, just being busy, but I'm willing to. Do y'all want to see my extremely chaotic, crazy garden? You can't judge me. That's the rules. That's the rules of showing people your garden in August, is you got to check your judgment at the door. Like for instance, I got struck by peppergate this year. These are banana peppers, and obviously they are wasted. They are just not harvested. That's because I ended up with like 18 plants of them, and I don't want any more. And when I show stuff like this, sometimes I avoid shooting the garden at this time, because when stuff like this exists, inevitably people will be like, I can't believe you're wasting food like that. I can't believe you're wasting this. You should donate that to food pantries. You should let other people come pick. You should do all this stuff. And while it's really easy to come up with ideas about what people should do with resources like this, like I am not joking when I tell you how we have had no time. And so I am honestly dealing with my capacity. I have made my peace about letting these things go. I've actually pulled a couple of the plants out and just thrown them to the chickens, let them have the whole plant. They like the peppers. And I'll probably do that with these. I just don't want to give them to them all at once. I do have a tendency to shy away from criticism. It's actually something I'm working on in myself, to just like actually get over it and decide not to care. It's easier said than done. But if I were to shy away from showing you these peppers and letting you see those, you might miss this. Look at this pumpkin, this rogue pumpkin that, no joke, probably currently weighs, it weighs at least 40 pounds. It may even weigh upwards of 60 pounds. Like this pumpkin is massive. As is this watermelon. This is an orange glow watermelon, and this one is close to ready. It's not quite ready yet. I've got a few others too. I've already harvested one of the big orange glow melons, but I've got a couple others here. So exciting. I guess I still can come to the garden and get excited, even though I have to get through the tension of being like, it's a lot. There's a lot of good too. I just noticed something. Look at this. That's a reishi. I just saw this one right here. This little bitty squirt of one. Isn't it a shame to realize that you're shying away from some things because of avoiding criticism, when in actuality, when you move that out of the way, you know, you can enjoy those things very much? A little introspection there. Might have to think about that one a little more later. The orange glow watermelon that I picked out of here a couple weeks ago was 34 pounds, and it was delicious. That is one watermelon that I think if I have to choose one watermelon, that's going to be it for me, because obviously it does well here, but it tastes amazing. It's an orange flesh watermelon, and it is so sweet. Even growing in a high tunnel, which typically, as far as like intense sweetness or really intense flavor, the high tunnel sometimes takes away from that because you're not getting rain. And it just is different, but they were amazing, even grown in the high tunnel. And those pumpkins, like, look at this. It's crazy. We've actually had to cut it back some because it was encroaching into the driveway and the vines were just getting run over by cars. I don't know how many pumpkins are out here. I think last year we did not have this many plants, and I think I harvested something like 60. And this year they're bigger because last year I grew them in the ground over here in this in-ground garden, which was a brand new garden. It was a first-year garden, which, you know, the soil was not as rich because we hadn't done anything to it. We literally just tilled a plot, planted it, and it didn't we gave it worm casting tea throughout the season, but the soil itself needed work. This is, let's see, the 3rd year for the garden in this, or the 3rd season. And so this is where we've had chickens on the off season. We've put tons of compost in here. We had a bunch of wood chips break down. So this soil is very rich, and the pumpkins there are consistently 50 to 60 pound pumpkins throughout that area right there, which we can't eat that many, obviously. Last year, I mean, we ate on those pumpkins, and I canned a bunch of them, and I made pumpkin pies, and I made pumpkin desserts, and I made pumpkin soup, and cut pumpkins up. We roasted pumpkin. We ate pumpkin like Bubba Gump ate shrimp. Like, we ate pumpkin. And we still had so many left that we just consistently fed them to the animals. This is Dutch fork pie pumpkin. It's a local heirloom. I don't know that the seeds are available. It has been so productive, and all the people are like, how do you grow pumpkins like that? I get squash vine borers and issues. Me too. That's why I keep growing this pumpkin, because being local to me, it is resilient to the local pests. And I heavily encourage, if you are trying to grow something like this and you have a reoccurring issue that just is relentless, try to find a local heirloom, something that was developed in your area, and then save seeds from it as you grow it. Like all of these pumpkins that we're growing, we literally just went and took a pumpkin that we had in storage, busted it open, took the seeds out, and planted them. And they're everywhere. They've volunteered everywhere. They're growing in my flower bed. They're growing all in the woods. And they are tough little dudes. And by little, I mean huge. Like, look at those vines. Goes all the way to the road. And for sustainability's sake, it is really awesome to be able to grow something to feed your animals. Pumpkin has very anti-parasitic properties. It's a good thing to feed your animals. It's a natural dewormer. And when you have them coming out of your ears, it's definitely something, it's definitely a beneficial resource. I actually think this plant up here in the front flower bed is finally like giving in to some vine borers and stuff, but like there's a couple here. These are smaller. I mean, they're still like upwards of 20-pound pumpkins, but this one plant went all the way back here. There was a really big pumpkin right here that was as big as that one in the high tunnel, and when the guys were out here working on Maya's foundation, they asked if we would sell them some pumpkins, and I just gave them that really big one. This is a volunteer. I mean, there's probably on here, now I don't know if they'll all get to being ripe before this vine dries up, but I think there's probably like 10 to 15 at least all throughout here. Oh Lord, that strap just about gave me heart failure. Y'all see that? I thought I was about to get snake bit on a YouTube video. Whew, that got me good. Y'all should feel my heart rate right now. I saw that. I know it has a blue stripe down it, but you see anything like this going through any vining areas whenever you live in the South? I swear. That got me. There was a shoestring on the driveway a few weeks ago. I don't know how a shoestring ended up on the driveway, but I was walking down once and I was holding a cup of tea, and I was walking and I just happened to catch out of the periphery, like I saw the shoestring, and I like to jump so bad at that tea, and it was a shoestring, but it's like it's ingrained. Keep your eye out for that shape in places where that shape, it might be a reason for concern. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I just want to pop on here and say hey to you, and Oh, I have a few videos over the next couple of days, but I had this one halfway done and haven't been filming because I've been in the kind of overwhelmed place, but things are finally feeling like they're leveling out, and I'm glad to be back with you. I bless you guys. Until next time.